Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carrie, and I normally upload like beauty related content on this channel. However, I did want to jump on and do my story on a hip condition that I've been dealing with over the last several years, and it's called FAI with labral tear. So, in doing some research to try to find like other people's experiences and stories, I have come up kind of empty-handed, in so to speak, because I would try to research this online and I would get people's stories here and there, but it's just not something that's really talked about that much, I don't find. So that's kind of like the reason why I wanted to make this video and share my story, and to let you know that I had my surgery, my first one, a year ago, exactly, and then in 9 days I'm having a revision surgery. So I kind of wanted to share the reason why I'm having a revision and just the whole thing, just so what we can just kind of connect. If there's other people out there going through this, it'd be nice to sound off in the comments and just share each other's experiences, because like I said, it's just I don't find very many videos on this topic, and I think it would help a lot of people because it is something that has become up and coming, and a newer not newer diagnosis, but just they're finding more and more people with this condition, and then a lot of surgeries. They have actually the surgeries have went up drastically on this type of condition. So about 4 years ago, I was having like low left back pain with hip pain and everything. So long story short, they did some x-rays and imaging MRIs. Basically said I had with my back like some degenerative disc changes, which is not uncommon. Wasn't really worried about that. And I do have a slight scoliosis too in my spine. But then with the hip, they kept finding bursitis. So basically, my regular orthopedic doctor I was seeing was like giving me hip injections and just kind of watching it and stuff like that. But it just kept becoming an issue. Like 2 years later, he was like, he started looking at the x-rays a little closer, and he said he knew of a hip specialist that he thought, but when he was looking at the x-rays, he really thought that I was dealing with the FAI, which is femoral acetabular impingement. For those of you that don't know, it's basically your femoral head, and the acetabulum is your cartilage and impingement. So it's like your hip is a ball and socket joint, and so when you have when the bone is supposed to be in there spherically and smooth, and it's supposed to move freely and easily, but if you have any kind of rigidness or irregularity to the bone whatsoever, people can have that and it not cause a problem, but some people have a significant bumpy roughness there on their bone that eventually will start to break down the cartilage around it, which is called the labrum. And so they, my orthopedic locally thought that was what I was dealing with. So he went ahead and sent me to the hip specialist and went to that appointment. He was like, yes, definitely you have this. The best option for you to avoid full-blown arthritis is to go ahead and have a surgery. I mean, it wasn't, he explained everything to me and was very open, and said it was not something that I had to do. It wasn't a life or death thing, but I mean, in my 30s, it was a better option than letting it progress and then wind up a full-blown arthritis, which would be a total hip replacement. And at the time, I was in so much discomfort and pain, and my quality of life was just really deteriorating. I was getting tired of just not knowing, like I just wanted something fixed. So then I elected for the first surgery. So that was a year ago, and everything went really good with that surgery initially. He shaved about 25% of my bone down in my femoral head, and fixed my labrum, where he went in with anchors and fixed the tear. So all good and well. The recovery was going well. About 6 weeks into physical therapy, started to kind of decline a little bit. And when I say decline, my range of motion was going. It was going in the other direction. It was getting worse versus getting better. So basically, when I would lay on my back and try to lift my knee, like bend my knee and lift my leg up to my chest, I'd only get to like about halfway, and then it would hurt, but it would also just be completely blocked in the groin area. And so that raised questions for my physical therapist and all this and that and the other. So long story short with that is I basically, my doctor was like, well, I think this is just kind of a setback. I think we just need to, you really just need to continue on and do what you're doing with PT. And, these things do take time to heal. You just need to be patient, Normally until like 6 months, we don't, we kind of take everything into consideration, like that things that are going on. And at 6 months, we make a determination whether or not it looks like you are going in the right recovery direction, where you are getting better. I mean, you're still not going to be 100% at 6 months, but they say that 6 month mark is kind of golden, because if you are worse at 6 months than you were before the surgery, then obviously something isn't right. So basically, yeah, I got to the 6 month mark, and I was declining rapidly. I work on my feet a lot. I work in a doctor's office, a pediatrician office, a very busy doctor's office. So by the end of the day, it was all I could do to walk to my car, in tears, just very, very, just very discouraged at this point, needless to say. So I was going, back to see him and different things, but during that time, I actually called and asked them if they would do an MRI, because I hadn't had an MRI since the surgery. I'd had a couple x-rays, and that's just basically looking at the bone, and the bone looked fine. The bone looks great, but I could just tell there was some soft tissues, just something, muscles or something wasn't right in there. So it was a good thing that I did, was persistent about that, and they gave me the MRI. They ordered it for me, and I went and had it done. And came back, I had adhesive capsulitis, which is basically I had a bunch of adhesions and scar tissue that I attached to my capsule in my joint, which I believe that's probably what's causing my decreased range of motion. But not only that, they did see some deformities also in my labrum again, so possibly a re-tear. My doctor thinks possibly it never really healed right, that kind of thing. So we decided, okay, in 9 days from now, I'm going back in for my revision surgery. So it'll actually be 1 year, almost to the date of the first one. He's going to go in with the scope again and take a second look. According to the MRI, he does believe that he's going to have to go in and clean up some of those adhesions and scar tissue to free it from the capsule. But the biggest question is going to be the labrum. He's not going to be 100% sure until he goes in and sees it. But worst case scenario, it'll be that he'll have to take it out and replace it with a new one. And that kind of creeps me out, because that's a grafting process, and that's like talking about bringing in a cadaver labrum and that kind of thing, which, if they have to do that, they have to do that. If that helps me, so be it. I mean, at this point, I'm desperate for anything, but that is like basically the worst case scenario, because he thinks, based on the MRI, looking at my bone, it looks completely good. Like, he thinks he's got all the FAI, the bumps and everything smoothed off my bone, so he doesn't think that I'm dealing with continuous bone issues or anything like that. So that's a good thing. But just the deep problems with, like I said, the cartilage, the soft tissues, and everything else around it are the main issue. So I'm going to go back in there for this revision on May 31st, and I plan on doing like a follow-up video to this, but I wanted to kind of get this story out there and just kind of raise a little bit of an awareness. Like I said, I was not really finding a whole lot of videos, people talking about this, and I think it's great that if we can just share our experiences, if anybody's going through this. I don't want to scare anybody to, like, if you're going in for your first one and you think, oh no, it's, I'm going to have a second one. Everybody's different, everybody's body's different, but I think, if we can share our experiences, a lot of the things are the same as far as how they do the surgery and everything like that, and I think it's just interesting to see how people do and how people don't do, or what your protocol was after surgery, what your PT was, that all these kind of variables, in your recovery process as well. So I'm just ready to get back to my life and be able to just get out and walk. I mean, you take for granted being able to, walk walk for any long distance. Like at work, I'm on my feet a lot, but I'm going like to get a patient and then to a room and then back, you know. But if I'm out at the mall or something, just for instance, I mean, walking, like, I can't do that for very long at all. Like, I could maybe walk in the mall, go into like one store, and then it's all I can do to like get back to the parking lot, because I'm literally like, my leg and my hip is completely locked, just, you know, stiff. So, and I'm just ready for that to just be, I can walk freely without having any kind of stiffness, pain, and that kind of thing. So please leave me some comments below. If you're going through this right now, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to give you any kind of advice that I can give. Like I said, everybody's different. Everybody's experience is going to be different, but I think that's what's unique about this type of surgery anyways. So, like I said, I will come on and do a follow-up after this to let you know what my progress is going to be going forward after the second one. So do your research, talk to your doctor, be persistent. That's what I can say right now. You know, if something doesn't feel right, just, you know, keep staying on top of it, because you know your body, and you know, this is your body. You get one body. This is your life, and the doctors don't know how you are truly feeling. I mean, they can look at images, they can, you know, examine you and that kind of thing, but they don't feel what you're feeling. So you have to be very open to them, because there could be, you know, something that they're missing and that kind of thing. So just know that it does take time for the recovery process. So don't get discouraged too soon, but after about 6 months to, I'd say, 8 months, in between that area, if things aren't improving or, you know, getting worse, and that's definitely something to ask, you know, your doctor to have imaging, to possibly have take a second look to make sure things are the way they should be in there. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and listen. Like I said, I really wanted to put out some more content here on YouTube about this subject, and maybe bring awareness and open it up in the comments to people that might be going through the same thing. And I appreciate everybody's time, and I will talk to you soon, probably after my surgery, because it'll be in 9 days, and I'm getting nervous, but it's going to be good. I have confidence. I'm praying a lot that this one's going to work, and I'm going to be all better. So thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.